I'm Robert W. Morgan on the special of the week with Andy Gibb. You'd think that with 3 sons already in the music business, Hugh and Barbara Gibb would have wanted their 4th to pursue another line of work. But considering the alternatives Andy offered his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Gibb really had no choice.
Well, we said, here we go again.
It's exciting. I knew Andy would do it too. I knew, you know. But it took him a little longer than it did the others, of course, because he was...
Andy was later starting.
Yeah.
Andy is the oddball among the brothers. He's a real sports freak. He tackles everything. And once he's mastered it, he goes on to something else. First it was show jumping in England. He was the youngest member of the team. He's only 11. He had 2 horses. Then we go to Spain, and he got his certificates for scuba diving. Still a kid, you know. He's about 12.
Good feeling, looking at love again. Breaking out of something new, I can't pretend. Good feeling, knowing the time is right. Here I stand, have you meant, bring me back to life.
No, I never had permanent friends in many places for long. All my friends were older than me. I never had friends my own age. I left school at 13, and I've always been surrounded by people in the business. So to have that, you know, it's never been able to relate. And I've always loved the gypsy in our family. As far back as I can remember, we've always moved. We never even stayed in a house over 8-9 months. We never lasted a year out in one house. I don't know what it was. We'd have to get up and then move to somewhere else.
Because his parents moved more often than the California fault line, Andy got to see the world without joining the Navy. They lived all over the British Isles and Europe, but the port of call Andy calls the beginning of his career was a sleepy Spanish island whose name most people mispronounce.
Ibiza. It was spelled I-B-I-Z-A, and they pronounced the I-Z as T-H, so it was like Ibiza. And it's a very, very pretty little island. Because I was working in piano bars and nightclubs and things. And so I did 3.5 years of that for experience. Went to the Isle of Man, which is a small island between Ireland and England. My brothers were all born there. And I spent a year there after leaving Ibiza. 1 full year performing in a club for money. The profit at the gate and what have you. We did pretty well there, made a bit of money. And at the end of that year, that was the date that Barry and my dad said, Australia.
Australia. 3 brothers Gibb, Barry, Morris, and Robin had already gotten their act together down under. Now there'd be a 4th, Andy.
Barry and my father suggested I go out there to Australia and just go out there and generally trying to become a big name there, like they originally did. So they controlled it even from that point, which was 1971, a bit later than that even. So, but even before I became any single at all, they were guiding it and they were planning for the future. They were planning for me to eventually come back to America, Barry to produce me at the right age and sign with our son. So therefore, even when I was very, very young, they told me basically how they planned my life to go. And I let them do it. It went pretty nice.
Secrets of the Bermuda Triangle revealed. Next on the special of the week. I'm Robert W. Morgan. I'm Robert W. Morgan with Andy Gibb on the special of the week. After 2 years undergoing basic training in the Bee Gees Australian Musical Boot Camp, Andy Gibb was ready to receive his commission. The only thing now standing between Andy and stardom was the telephone. Finally, it rang.
Yeah, first call came from Barry in Anchorage, Alaska, on tour. And he said, I've just been sitting here after the show. He said, I want to produce your records. And Robert wants to manage you. I got managed alone. I said, that's incredible. Plus he wants to sign you up to the label. So, I mean, what could I say? It's just 2 weeks. Such a date was arranged. So Barry instigated it.
Andy and Barry Gibb converged upon Robert Stigwood, the RS and RSO records, at his home near Nassau. There, the Bermuda Trio mapped out the musical strategy that would make Andy an overnight sensation. To be sure, some critics have called his career contrived, but Andy's producers, Albie Galutin and Carl Richardson, claim what we're really witnessing is a boy becoming a man on vinyl.
He's got a lot of energy, and what it is each time, like the first album we did with Andy, to us it's been so amazing to watch him grow to do the second album. And I'm sure that when we do the third one, it'll be even another quantum leap. Each time he grows older, the songs come through with more stuff, and he's feeling it more. He spends a lot more time getting involved in the studio. So I'm looking forward to the next one. There's always a quantum leap when you're dealing with somebody that young.
Not surprisingly, the Bee Gees are Andy's favorite group. He's sung along with their records and with them ever since he was a kid. So I asked Andy if he'd ever considered joining his brothers as the fourth Bee Gee.
I think that would only ever happen if I joined the Bee Gees soon and then they split up or they retired. Because I'm just not ready to retire and I'm not ready to stop yet. But, you know, I mean, they've had a lot of years. And if they ever want to stop or not get into it anymore, and at that point, if I was a member of them, which I'm not saying I am or would, we just touched on it lightly many times. And so if I was and then they stopped, then I would continue as a solo artist.
Although Andy Gibb's words and music are aimed at an older audience, he's also become a teen idol. His every move is breathlessly reported in the pages of countless teen magazines. Andy's more amused than angered by these publications, especially the ones which used to run his name on the bottom of their covers.
Now it's at the top, Andy and Sean, or Sean and Andy, you know, win a date, or you could be their heartthrob, or what girl turns Andy on, or is it true about Andy and Marie, you know, and all this across the top? Are Sean and Andy battling for Marie's love? It's fabulous.
Sensing a scoop in the making, I visited the Hollywood offices of Tiger Beat, a fan magazine, where I learned that Sean Cassidy and Andy Gibb aren't battling each other for Marie Osmond's love. However, as long as I was there, I asked Tiger Beat editor Kathy Kirkland what kind of fan mail Andy was getting these days.
Of course, they mention the records first, because that's really the only way they know him so far. It's a little different with people like Sean, or where they've seen him on TV. But it's definitely a romantic feeling, you know, you move so well on stage, or, you know, I'd die to meet you, please write me back, that sort of thing. Because, I mean, you know, face it, he's really cute, so...
He might be an overnight sensation, but for Andy Gibb, the real struggle's only now beginning. And yet, he's growing day by day. With every song he sings, his voice takes on an added authority. And with every song he writes, he exhibits greater maturity. He's much more than just the Bee Gees' younger brother or the latest teen idol. He's Andy Gibb, and tomorrow belongs to him.
Created it and it sparked it right off, I think. It certainly helped me. I'm so much more confident after doing the second album, getting the pressures of proving to myself that the first one wasn't a fluke and that I could write a second album. So now those pressures are gone, I'm in a lot more things, more confident.
The special of the week on Andy Gibb was written and produced by Alan Daniel Goldblatt, associate producer Jerry Hyman. Our director was Lee Hansen, our engineer Stu Jacobs. The special of the week is produced and distributed by Watermark Incorporated, executive producer Tom Rounds. I'm Robert W. Morgan. Thanks for listening.